Let's play quietly. Hey everybody, this is Brian here from Let's Play Quietly, and I am playing Streets of Rage from the Sega Classics Collection tonight. I recorded this gameplay before, so I'm going to talk a little bit about the game, starting with the sort of pre-roll. It says this city was once a happy, peaceful place, until one day a powerful, secret criminal organization took over. This vicious syndicate soon had control of the government and even the police force. The city has become a center of violence and crime where no one is safe. Amid this turmoil, a group of determined young police officers has sworn to clean up the city. Among them are Adam Hunter, Axel Stone, and Blaze Fielding. They are willing to risk anything, even their lives, on the streets of rage. So, Streets of Rage came out in 1991, and as you can see, our main characters are Adam Hunter, and they're all ex-cops even though they're in their early 20s, Blaze Fielding, and Axel Stone. I will be playing with Blaze. She is the fastest of the three of them. So it came out in 1991. It is my favorite brawler on... Well, this series, I should say, is my favorite series in terms of brawlers. I like this series better than Double Dragon. I like it better than Final Fight. And I definitely like it better than Golden Axe. If you watched the last video, then you saw that I played Golden Axe. This game came out after Golden Axe, and it is a far superior game in terms of the mechanics. Everything from the controls to just the depth of where the enemies are, all that stuff is just so much better in this game, and it's better looking. So, as you can see, Blaze is kicking the crap out of these guys. Now, much like Golden Axe, you have jump, you have your attack button, and then you have a special attack button. So instead of potions in this game, you can actually call in some backup, and you'll see me do that at the end of this level. You'll notice that there's a couple times where I am like backflipping over people or like jumping onto their shoulders, and that is because I could not remember how to do the throw move, but you'll see me eventually pull it off. And you know, the key, much like in Golden Axe, is to watch out for getting flanked. The enemies have a much better variety in this game. I mean, there's not a ton of variety, but it's better than Golden Axe. It's not just color swaps in the same two enemies. There are definitely color swaps, as you'll see. But overall, this game is just a lot better. This game also has, and this whole series has, some of the best soundtracks that you'll ever hear in a 16-bit game. And actually, the score is done by Yuzo Koshiro, and you can track down the Streets of Rage soundtracks. They're amazing, top to bottom, just fantastic. One of the things that I really love about this game, so as you can see here, you can pick up weapons in Golden Axe. You had weapons here. The weapons are pickups, and the pipe is really good because it has a great reach. The problem is if you walk over another weapon, you grab that instead. But Blaze is using the pipe. Those guys in jeans and jean vests, they're really good at getting the first punch in on you. And so, you'll see a lot of times they'll get the first shot in on me. Again, if you knock a guy down here who has a weapon, you can pick up their weapon. And you saw that I picked up power-ups. You know, the apples replace your health, which is good. I don't think I use any continues in this game. I could be wrong about that, but those guys that just walked in, the long-haired dudes, they do these across the screen, so you gotta be really careful with them. So, as many enemies as you can clear out with the bat, you want to do that. There is a great website online called Streets of Rage Online, and they have just fantastic facts and information about this series. This series is actually known, instead of Streets of Rage, as a series called Bare Knuckle in Japan, and it was released in 1991. And again, this was a title that was meant to rival Final Fight, and so you can see some similarities between the two series, but I really love this game, and let's see if I can read some facts here. The Sega employed development team Ancient to work on the title along with former members of Team Shinobi, who used a heavily modified version of the Golden Axe engine to produce what would eventually become Bare Knuckle or Streets of Rage. As you can see, I just used my special attack there, which is like a backup bazooka. This boomerang guy, I don't even think you're going to get to see him attack here because I had him timed perfectly. And I was just using jump kicks with Blaze. Every time he would start to line me up, I would jump kick him. So that's kind of cool that this game uses a Golden Axe engine, because as you can see with Golden Axe, it had a good foundation, but it just wasn't as tight as this game is. This game is just really superior, and this game, I believe, also uses some assets from the Shinobi game, which was a fantastic game in and of itself. So I cleared out that boss of round 1 pretty easily. They don't all go that well, especially the last one where I die. But the other thing I like is that, more so than Golden Axe, the levels feel very different here. So now we're sort of on the streets, on the outskirts, and you can see the city in the background. We're in the bad part of town, and as you'll see, the enemies continue to get a little bit more varied, and they attack in bigger numbers. And instead of phone booths here, we have oil drums that are trash cans that we can knock over to get power-ups and stuff like that. So the money really just kind of helps your score. I prefer picking up food because it replenishes my health. See, now we've got a lot more enemies on the screen, and these guys, they come in kind of diagonally, and they're really good at getting that first punch off. So this is why I like to use Blaze more so than the other characters, because she's faster. And so you can really, I'm just waiting for him to come attack me now. You can really manage larger groups of enemies better, I think, with Blaze. There's a power-up that I basically forgot about there and didn't pick up. My goal here is to clear out the enemies before I pick up the food. And the bottle's cool because the first time you use it, it breaks, and then you get a couple more attacks with it before it disappears. So now I pick up the health. The other thing that you figure out pretty quickly with these games is you don't want to be right up against the edge of the screen, because that's a good way to get attacked without even seeing who's attacking you. These ladies with the whips here, they have a long reach, and so I tend to try to use jump attacks against them. Anyone that has a weapon or a longer range attack, I try to line up with the kicks, because if you get close to them, she can use that whip before I can actually reach her sometimes. So after I finish clearing out these guys, I forget who, the boss of this level I hate. You'll see in a minute, but he's like the poor man's Wolverine. And, he's like impossible to hit. I still haven't figured out a consistent because with the bosses are really cheap, I think, in this game. And in the series in general. And you can imagine when you were playing in the arcade that these bosses would just eat up your quarters, you know? So it makes sense that there's a huge difficulty spike with the bosses, but as you'll see, like, up until the bosses, I'm kind of managing pretty well. I got 5 lives right now. I'm picking up my health pickups as I go. So I'm not using a ton of health or lives. I'm picking up my weapons, you know, so these guys that juggle, one of them juggles like fire sticks, and another guy will show up in a minute that juggles axes, and they're a pain in the butt because when you get close to them, the things that they're juggling do damage to you. And so, as you'll see, when I jump kicked him, I kicked a bunch of the weapons out of his hands, and that's how you whittle them down. You're going to see the axe guy show up again soon. But if you get too close to them, you'll just automatically take damage. And actually, I stand corrected. It looks like this was released right at the end of 1990 in the US. I think we're about to the boss here. You should totally check out Streets of Rage Online, which is soronline.net. They have great write-ups on all of the games. It's really cool. And I can't recommend the soundtracks highly enough. They're amazing. See, I'm at full health with 5 guys right now, so Blaze is kicking butt. But these axe guys, I think I run into his weapons a couple times. Blaze's jump kick is awesome, and I try to line that up as much as possible. Street of Rage, as you can see at the top, you could play with 2-player co-op, which is really a super fun way to play this game. I often play it single player, but it is a blast to play with 2. It's a lot easier to manage some of the groups of enemies, obviously. But with Blaze by herself, I'm just constantly moving or trying to draw them to a certain area. And I try to stay in the middle of the screen. So here's the boss, and he's a jerk. He's like a Wolverine character, and he's impossible to hit. And they start spawning in these secondary henchmen, which really sucks. But he like attacks diagonally, and then he phases out of the way. So every time I try to get close to him, he like reaches from like a plane above me and gets me. Now every time I die though, I get a new special attack, which I think I forgot to use this time, but I'll remember the next time. But yeah, having other enemies spawn in just really sucks, and then I wasted that knife. But I can't even get close to this guy. Every time I do, he sneaks up, see, he comes up behind me like that. Then I try to jump out of the way and he gets me, so now I remember I have a special attack. And there we go. And that lights him up. And then maybe I start connecting with some of my jump kicks, or I might not. I think I might have to use my special attacks every time. See? He's above me, but he's able to reach down and get me. Which is super frustrating. Oh, I piled it over him. I suplexed him. So that worked out good. And I almost got off another one. And then I used my special attack again. And I think that might finish him off. Yeah, it does. Which is good, but I had 5 guys going into that fight, 5 lives. And I'm down to 2. So, if I was at a arcade machine, my quarters would be getting eaten up on that one. So now we're in round 3, and we're at the beach, which is kind of awesome. And now trash cans. And those jean jacket wearing dudes are now wearing sort of fatigues. But we pick up the bat, and then it's time to clean house. But now you're going to see the more difficult enemies start showing up in droves. And these guys are faster than their counterparts. So now we get the rain effects, which is kind of awesome. Or I would imagine it's like the sea spray effect. Which is kind of cool. You'll see the frame rate drop a little bit when things get a little bit crazy, but overall, the frame rate's pretty good. See, that's me not pulling off the suplex. I'm just vaulting off of his shoulders. But yeah, having the bat or the pipe is really helpful here because you start to get large groups of enemies. So, and the weapons actually last a longer time, I think, than in Double Dragon. Like in Double Dragon, I always felt you get one or two attacks and then you lose the weapon. Here, you can kind of clean house for a little while before you finally lose it. Again, the money to me is kind of useless. Those guys will throw those knives if you don't get them quick enough. But now you see I start really getting ganged up on, so. And the guys in green are faster than the guys in blue. But now I have a pipe, so it's time for Blaze to clean house. And then you see when you get to go forward, I try to reset at the middle of the screen, so I'm not too close to either edge. And this level, the whole level is pretty much you along the shoreline here. But wait to see who we fight at the end. There's the whip-wielding characters in Double Dragon as well. I don't think they have hats, though. But look at these guys. 3 of them at the same time. It's crazy. And they are jumpers. And then the whip comes up behind you, so this is where it starts to get, I don't want to say unfair, but it gets difficult to manage. And again, she's above me and manages to hit me, but the suplex took care of her. You definitely don't want to lose track of those jumping guys because they will hit you from all angles. And again, I kept trying to pull off a throw and I kept missing it, so finally I just went back to spamming my regular attacks. The knife guys, I just try to get them out of the way really quickly, and they'll drop the knife. But you see, if you let them, one of them will grab you, and the other one will just start pummeling you. Which again, I think is where Blaze's speed comes in. I might be getting close to the end of the level. Yeah, I think I am. And again, you get the sea spray from the crashing waves, which is cool. Oh, the difference here that you see that you didn't see in Golden Axe is that whenever you respawn, it actually knocks all the enemies down and they take damage. In Golden Axe, that didn't happen. I like that here because it gives you kind of a moment of being able to reset. And we are very close to the boss battle, and again, I have 1 life. This is my final. I don't know if it goes to 0 or not, but I'm not in good shape heading into this boss battle. And I don't know if there's any more power-ups before we get there. I don't think there is. I love that the bosses in this game are all sort of patterned after people you know, like here he is. It's the Ultimate Warrior. The Ultimate warrior runs in, and he, again, is almost impossible to fight, so I use my special attack. But I only have one. And now, every time I try to jump or anything, he just destroys me. So that was the end of that, But I did pretty well overall. Got to put my name on the leaderboard. So, that's pretty much going to wrap up our video. If you like this video, please click like and subscribe to our YouTube page, and I will definitely be back again with more of these Sega Classics, so I hope you enjoyed this. And definitely go check out Streets of Rage online, because it's a great site.